All right, this is the fourth video in the series for learning about some of the different modifiers. In this video, we're going to look at Spherify and kind of figure out why would we take a cube and turn that into a sphere instead of just using a sphere. Okay, so I'm going to go into my create panel, and you notice we do have a sphere in here. When I do the sphere, I'm just going to put one in here for good measure. We'll use that for comparison purposes later. But let's do a box in front of it about the same size. So I'm going to do a box here, okay, and my length and my width. Now it turned out to be a rectangle. I can't see it because of my angle, but you notice it didn't turn out square. So I kind of want to keep that as a square. So let's just make it a ½ meter by ½ meter by ½ meter. Okay, so I'll do that here. I'm just going to type in here my box, 0.5. I'm going to tab from one to the next, 0.5 and 0.5. All right, there is a ½ meter box. I'm going to hide the rest of these. Okay, hide the twisted taper, hide the regular taper, and hide my shell. For now, I'm going to hide my sphere also. Okay, and let's just focus on adding the modifier here. There isn't much to do to this modifier yet, but we want to understand it a little bit. I'm going to go into my modify tab. Okay, my box is selected here. Let's change the name of this to Spherify, Spheriphy. I think that's right. We'll double check it in the modifier list. Let's find it and then we'll check our spelling here. So I scroll down to Spherify. Yep, no, it's an F here. So I'm going to fix my spelling. Sorry about that. Spherify. Okay, and get rid of the H. Spherify. All right, what happened? We applied the modifier. It's not a circle, right? So we have our box selected. The modifier is applied at 100%. We can turn this down to 50%, and it makes it even less. Okay, why? That doesn't look like my sampler in here. Where'd it go? It doesn't want to show up. Oh, here. That turned into a circle, right? Why is ours not working? You think you got it figured out? Well, let's go back into our box and change some parameters. Right now we have length set at 1, width set at 1, and height set at 1. So with this modifier, it's only gonna, it wants to try to turn it into a circle, but it's gonna limit it to the amount that it's setting it up at any given time. Okay, so it's not going to turn everything into a circle. It's keeping everything with straight lines. But if we turn the number of segments up here, we start cranking that up for the length, and we start turning this up for the width. Okay, notice what happens to our shape. And now let's do the height as well. We'll turn that to 15. Now if you notice, okay, our box just got turned in to a lot more round of a shape. And then if I turn this up, then we can take that and completely round it out, or we can square off the corners. Now, where would this be good? Okay, let's say we want to partially do this. We want to make it more skinny. One of our future exercises, we're going to be making some couches, and maybe you want to take your couch cushions, which are more rectangled, and just give them a little bit of 3D roundness and some volume and stuff. Maybe not that much, but you can definitely change up how much is applied to your shape. Okay, another thing, if I turn this all the way up, let's go back and crank this up to 100%. Okay, it makes it a round sphere. Okay, but now let's turn on our other sphere and notice the difference in the way these are modeled. Okay, the way these are modeled, is we still have our original 6 faces, which turns and gives us the selection for how our lines are drafted in our sphere. So think about how you might model a shape that's more like a face. It's going to give you some different parameters of how things are going to line up and which things you can grab by the way that it sets up the original faces in your scene and the way that your segments are divided in space. So each one has its own place. For now, all we really need to do is make sure that you are able to do that. I'm going to delete this original sphere. I can do that by clicking on the sphere, hitting delete. I'm going to turn back on my other 3 shapes that we modified. So we have a total of 4. Let's zoom them to my window here and get a nice view to show that I did the shell. I can move this in a row. I can grab any one of these shapes by hitting the move tool, W, clicking on it and sliding it forward with this red tool. It might not want to grab because there's all these other lines on here. I can shut off my edge faces if I want, F4 on the keyboard. That might make it easier to grab. I'm going to hover my mouse on here. When the red line turns yellow, I'm ready to grab it. I can slide that forward. They're lined all up. Let's render this as a picture. I'm going to go into my render setup. Click on it. This opens up the menu. We don't have any animations, so single output. Perspective view is perfect. And I shouldn't have to change any of this other items on here. I'm going to just go render now, and then we'll save it. So here's my pick. Now I'm going to go to this diskette, which is the icon for save. Once it's done rendering, it's still fixing it up. So I go to the disk, save my image, select my location, and this one is going to be called Modifier Practice PNG. Okay, Modifier Practice PNG. Make sure you save it in your folder, My 3ds Max Works, and this is what you are going to attach to our practice assignment here for learning how to use modifiers. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it right over top of my other one. Click yes. Keep your default at RGB for 48-bit for our coloring, and we are finished. Attach that to your assignment, turn it in, and I am looking forward to seeing your wonderful work. In our next video, it's going to be our assessment to see how you learn these tools in order to use them in our scene. All right, keep it up, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.